Product research is the most important part of the entire Amazon business model, but unfortunately, it also happens to be the most difficult and frustrating for beginners. So in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how I find profitable products to sell, and more importantly, set yourself up for success using the Jungle Scout web app and Chrome extension. But first, my name is Crescent, and if this is our first time meeting, welcome to my channel. My passion is sharing tips and strategies on how you can create a successful Amazon FBA private label business. So if you enjoy videos like this, or especially if you've been around my channel, consider subscribing. All right, let's get started. Okay, so before we begin, there's actually 3 stages to product research: planning, product discovery, and niche analysis. I rarely ever see the planning stage being discussed, so I want to make sure that you understand the value and importance of not skipping this step. Putting together a plan before you start your product research is crucial for 2 reasons. It allows you to comprehend what the numbers mean when you're looking at the data and how they can affect each other. And second, it'll cut down the time it takes to analyze each niche, making product research go a lot faster and smoothly. Benjamin Franklin said it best: if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. Product research involves analyzing a lot of numbers. Therefore, it's important that you figure out ahead of time what some of these numbers are. Most importantly, being your monthly profit goal. Otherwise, you'll just be aimlessly doing product research without any real target criterias to look for. So for example, grab a pen and a piece of paper so you can write these numbers down and have them in front of you while you're doing product research. First, figure out what your realistic monthly profit goal is. For most people, this is probably going to be around $3,000 per month. So write that down. Now that you know you're aiming to make $3,000 per month, in order for you to achieve that goal, you need to make $100 per day. That's 3,000 divided by 30 days, which is $100 per day. So write that down, $100 per day. Now, a realistic profit margin per unit is $10. That means for every unit that you sell, you can make $10 profit. So in order to make $100 per day, you need to sell 10 units per day. That's 10 units times $10 equals $100 per day. So in order for you to make $100 per day, you need to sell 10 units per day. So 10 units times $10 per unit is $100. With me so far? Now selling 10 units per day translates to 300 units per month. 10 times 30 days equals 300. So write that down, 300 units per month. Now that you have some target numbers in front of you that you can use while you're doing product research, and more importantly, you understand how these numbers tie together so you can change or manipulate them to suit your own particular needs. For example, if your monthly profit goal is different, or if you're aiming for a different profit margin per unit, then these numbers will change accordingly. Such as if the profit margin is $5 per unit, then you need to sell 20 units per day, or 600 units per month. Just do the math and write down the target numbers that fit your unique situation. Now that you have that figured out, we can move on to the second stage of product research, which is product discovery. This is where we're going to use the Jungle Scout web app to find potential product ideas that meet our targets. If you're not familiar with what the web app is, it's a product database where Jungle Scout has collected all the data of all the products in the Amazon marketplace so that I can use filters to find specific products that match your specific search criteria. All right, so if you don't have the Jungle Scout web app, you can jump onto Jungle Scout's website, and the web app is actually part of their tool suite, which includes Keyword Scout, Launch, and the product database, as well as a product tracker. And if we come over here and click on pricing, you can see that the Jungle Scout is actually $49 per month, and the Chrome extension is $39 per month. But I'll also leave a link in the description below to a huge discount, and if you use that link, it's end up being $169 for 3 months, which works out to be around $56 a month, which is almost 40% off. Okay, so definitely take advantage of that if you decide to purchase it. All right, so moving on to product discovery, we're going to use the product database to help us find specific products that meet our criteria. So as you can see on the left, you can first choose the marketplace that you're planning to sell in. So in our case, it's the United States, and you can choose the categories that you want to sell in. I've pre-selected these categories here because these other categories I don't want to sell in because they're either too competitive, there's too many returns or the liability is too high, such as creams, lotions, or items that you ingest, and I don't want to sell those items. Okay? And on the right is where you can choose your criteria to filter out these products, and this is where the planning comes in handy. Okay, so the first field here is the maximum and minimum price. Now it's important here that you look for products that are at least $15 and higher. And this is because typically a price point of $15 and lower, there's not going to be much money left over for a profit once you subtract your unit costs, shipping, and the Amazon FBA fees. And so to make sure you're making at least $5 per unit, you want to look for products that are at least $15 and higher. I also suggest looking for products that are less than $50 because a price point higher than that no longer becomes an impulse buy, and people will tend to do more research and put more thought into that purchase. Okay, so 15 and 50. Now this field is where you can set a minimum or maximum profit margin, but this doesn't include your unit costs because Jungle Scout doesn't actually know how much your units are. So it's just the sale price minus the FBA fees. And I don't tend to use this filter at all, but you can always incorporate it if you see fit. Now rank is the bestseller rank. And again, I don't use this field either, but you can set a minimum or maximum sales rank to filter out products. Sales is the monthly sales volume, and this is where the planning comes into effect. So if you're looking for 300 units per month, we're going to put a minimum of 300 in this field here. Revenue is how much total gross revenue a product is generating every month. And again, you can use this as an advanced technique to filter additional products. Reviews is how we gauge competition in a niche. So generally a niche that has a lot of listings with high reviews, we consider that very competitive, and you want to avoid competitive niches. So what I recommend is looking for niches where at least 7 out of the top 10 listings have less than 75 reviews. So we're going to put 75 here. And the rating field is how many stars the listing has based on the feedback from its buyers. And it's out of 5 stars. So if you want to incorporate this filter and look specifically for products that you can improve upon, you can put a maximum rating of say 3.5 or 3.7 stars here. Weight is where you can look for specific products that fit a specific tier that you want to sell products in. And what I recommend is selling products in the small size tier, and that's generally under 2 pounds. So you want to set a max weight of 2. Minimum sellers, maximum sellers, I don't use this field at all because it doesn't matter how many sellers there are in a niche. What really matters is just the listings on the first page. So I ignore this one completely. The LQS is the listing quality score. And this is where Jungle Scout has rated all of the listings based on how well optimized each listing is. And it's a score out of 10. So if you want to filter listings that you can improve upon to add value and differentiate, you can put a maximum listing score here of perhaps 6 or 7 and filter out poor quality listings. Again, like I said earlier, I suggest looking for products that fit the small size tier. So you can choose standard only. And then for me, I choose all of these for the seller because it doesn't really matter to distinguish between them. And one pro tip here is to use this exclude keyword field. And this is where you can filter out listings that have these keywords in their listing. And again, this helps to cut down the total number of results that show up here. You can see that using these filters here, there's 14,000 listings. So if you can cut this number down, it'll dramatically reduce your product research time. And one way to do that is to remove keywords that are specific to what you do not want to sell. So for me, I don't want to sell food items, lotions and creams, clothing, and anything that is trademarked or copyrighted. So here I'll scroll through real quick. You can see there's men's, women's, Nike, Under Armour, shirts, pants, socks, trademark products like NBA, NFL, NHL, supplement, weight here. So milligrams, ounces, food, edible, treats. Again, a lot of stuff that has to do with textiles. I remove them here. And what I'll actually do is I'll copy this list that I use and I'll put it in the video description below so you can use it and you can edit it or add to it to fit your own needs. Okay, so once you've set your search criteria, you can click the search button and now the product database is going to find all the related products that match these search criteria. So now if we look through the results, we're going to look for products that are unique, strange, and out of the ordinary. And you want to avoid products that are trendy, fads, or novelty type items. Okay, so for example, we're going to look through here and see if there's anything that catches my eye. So here's some that got through the filters. So like these are some supplements and creams. We're going to avoid those. Again, more topical items here. And I avoid electronics specifically. So these are batteries. You're gonna have to go through hazmat reviews for these. So I avoid electronics because there's a lot of potential for products that don't work, so you get a lot of returns. People ask a lot of questions on how to use it, so you're doing tech support all the time. And there's potential for hazmat review if it includes batteries. So I avoid that completely. So let's keep moving on here. So a ball collapsible funnel. This looks pretty interesting. So what I do is I like to queue these up. So I'll open it up in a new tab and I'll continue searching until I have 3, 4, or 5 product ideas, and then I'll actually go to analyze each niche. So if we continue and see what we can find, for example, that's a spell checker electronic item, avoid it. And if we look here, this is a refill pack for something. I also suggest avoiding products that are parts for another product because your sales will be tied directly to how well the other product sells. So avoid parts or components for a main product like vacuum bags or replacement parts for some other item. Let's keep going here. Premium Beeswax Candles. That looks pretty interesting. So let's open that up as well. See, like this is ink for a printer, so avoid that because it's parts for another product. Batteries, avoid it. A spring fishing feeder carp. I don't know what that is. That looks pretty interesting. So let's open that up. Okay, let's move on to page 2. Okay, like something like this is a novelty item. So you want to avoid those. That might be better for like a drop shipping or a Shopify store of some kind. Same with this. What's this? Tissue paper flowers. Let's open that up. So now that we have 3 or 4 products, let's move on to analyzing the niches. So let's start with this gold tissue paper flowers. So what you want to do here is you can't analyze specific product listings. You need to analyze an entire niche. So in order to do that, you need to come here and figure out what the shortest and broadest main keyword is for this product. And in this case, it's tissue paper flowers is what I think it is. Okay, so what you want to do is come up here and go to all departments, and we'll paste that in here and hit search. And you can look through here to make sure that the majority of the listings in the search results are indeed the product that we're looking at. And it does look like it's the case. These are all paper flower pom-poms, okay? Now it's important that you use the shortest and broadest keyword because if you use the wrong keywords when you analyze each niche, you'll potentially be looking at incorrect data and it could lead you to getting into a bad product. And the niche can end up being more competitive than you thought, okay? So it's very important that you do this. I'll actually leave a video here as well as in the video description below to how to find the correct broadest keyword if you want to learn more about it. So here's where the Chrome extension is going to come in handy to help you quickly and easily analyze each niche idea. So here you can click on the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. And as you can see, it pulled up all of the data for all of the listings here on the first page. And they're all in the organically ranked position here. Okay, and it's important that you never resort this list when you're analyzing a niche. You have to leave it in this organically ranked position. For example, if I were to organize this by monthly sales, it'll resort it, or by revenue, or by reviews, but you don't want to do that. You always want to leave it in the organically ranked position. Okay, now one other thing that a lot of beginners make a mistake on is they include the sponsored ads in the product analysis. So For example, you can see here these top listings here that say sponsored. These are placed here because of the PPC ads. These are not organically ranked here, okay? There's also a few more. If you scroll down, all the ones that say sponsored, you want to ignore. So in order to do that, so for example, if we go back to the Chrome extension, by default, if we come over here, the sponsored products is checkmarked, which means it's on. And if I click save, this is going to reload, and you'll notice it now shows SP next to the sponsored listings. And you want to make sure you ignore these. So if you want to see these in the Chrome extension, you can leave it here. But what I do is I don't want to see these at all. So that's why in the settings, I disable that by going to columns and disable it so they don't even show up in the Chrome extension. Okay, so now once it's reloaded, you can see those sponsored listings are removed. Now, one other pro tip here is if one of the sponsored listings also happens to be ranked on the first page as well, then you don't want to remove the organic one. So for example, these two are sponsored, okay? But if these listings are also on the first page somewhere, you don't want to remove the organic listing. You only want to remove these two sponsored ones, all right? So let's go back to the Chrome extension, and here's where we can analyze the data to see if this is a viable product idea. And the first thing you want to make sure is that the average price here is at least $15. And you can see if you scan down by eye and manually look at this, it looks like the average price here is around $12 to $13. Okay, it also shows the average price here. But you don't want to actually use this figure here as well as the average reviews and the monthly sales, because a few listings that have really high or really low sales, reviews, or prices will throw off an average. So you need to make sure you actually look through this by eye and see that it's at least $15 or higher. In this case, it is not. If we look at the monthly sales, remember when we did planning, you're looking for 300 units a month or more. So in this case, if we look down here, we want to make sure that the majority of these top listings are doing at least 250 to 300 units and higher. And if we look down these listings, you can see that the majority of these are doing more than 250 to 300 units per month, and that's great. Now we want to look at competition. Again, we want to make sure that at least 7 out of the top 10 have less than 75 reviews, and you can see that that's definitely the case, which is awesome, okay? And as you can see, Jungle Scout also has an opportunity score, which gives you, at a quick glance, an idea of what the overall market condition of this niche is. And it's saying that it has high demand with low competition, which is great. But never base your product research just on this opportunity score. You need to manually analyze the niche, okay? Now, you also need to make sure that all of the criteria are met, not just some of them. All right, so the price doesn't meet our criteria. So in this case, we would pass on this product. Additionally, you want to make sure that it's not brand dominated. And brand dominated means there isn't one seller that has 3 or more listings in the top 10, okay? So you can see here that Yui has 2, G-Joy has 2, Nicro Land has 2, but none of these have a whole bunch of listings here in the top listings here. So I wouldn't consider this brand dominated, okay? You definitely want to avoid those. Now, you also want to make sure that it's not a seasonal product. I always suggest not getting into seasonal products. You want to find products that sell well year-round. So how can you tell if a product is seasonal? Well, you can go on to Google Trends, which is trends.google.com. And again, type in your shortest, broadest keyword here, which is the tissue paper flowers. And then make sure you change this to past 5 years. And you want to make sure that the graph here is fairly flat. All right, and you can see there's spikes here, and I'm guessing these probably sell better in the spring, which they do, okay? So this is a seasonal product. So I'd probably avoid this one. So not only is the price too low, but it's also seasonal. So again, there's 2 strikes, so we would pass on these tissue flowers, okay? Now just for comparison, I'll show you what a product that is absolutely seasonal, what that chart looks like. For example, Christmas lights, which we know is only valid during Christmas season. So if we take a look at that chart, it only spikes during the November and December months, right? So this is definitely a seasonal product. Or pool floats, which sell better only during the summer months. You can see here that those sell better between May and August. Okay, now a product that isn't seasonal, for example, a can opener, you'll see that's pretty flat. Okay, and there's a hump here, but it's not a spike, it's a hump, and it's only during November and December, and I can attribute that to probably because it's a holiday season and there's a lot more family gatherings and people are cooking more, and so people are buying can openers at this time, so there's a lot more popularity during these months, but it's fairly flat for the rest of the year. So this is not a seasonal product. Okay, so the other product we found was this spring fishing feeder carp, which I have no idea what it is. I have no experience fishing, and it's always these strange and out of the ordinary products that seem to sell the best. So this caught my eye. So since I don't have any fishing experience, I'm going to assume that the shortest, broadest keyword here is the spring fishing feeder. So let's copy that and make sure you choose all departments. Do a search for that. And if we look down the search results, it looks like the majority of these are that fishing feeder. There's a few here that are not, so we're gonna have to remove those from our analysis. So let's scroll up here and we'll open up the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. Okay, we can see that the opportunity score right away is low demand, low competition, and the monthly sales is way too low. Remember, we're looking for 250 to 300 units per month and higher for the majority of these listings. And one thing I want to point out is I noticed there was some listings here that were irrelevant products, so you need to remove these from your analysis, right? So if we hover over this, we can see what these products are. So if we go down each one, we can see that this product isn't this spring fishing feeder. So we can click this X and remove it. Okay, and this one doesn't look like it is either. We'll click X. Okay, so once you remove those listings, then you can analyze the niche. Now, if you have to remove a ton of these listings, then you've probably not chosen the correct broadest keyword. So make sure that you're using the correct broadest keyword when you analyze niches so that the majority of the results are that product. And if there's any unrelated products, that there's only a few of them. Okay, so again, right away, when we look down this list, the sales doesn't meet our criteria, so we can move on to another product. And this is how you can quickly move through your product ideas. Okay, so if we actually went and looked at the price, we can see here that the average price looks like it's still pretty low. I'm going to guess around $9 or $10. And then is it brand dominated? No, it's not. There isn't one seller that has 3 or more listings. The reviews does pass. 7 out of the top 10 do have less than 75 reviews. Okay, so several strikes on this one. Let's move on. So this is the Beeswax Candles. Okay, so how you choose the broadest keyword is typically what you think best describes this product. So I don't know what a Chinaka is, right? And I don't know if weave is relevant there. So that's why I think it's just going to be Beeswax Candles. So I'm going to type that in. You can make sure it's all departments. And if we look down here, this looks like it's the correct product. Okay, so we'll open up Jungle Scout. And right away, I can see that this is brand dominated. This blue corn has 7 listings here in the top 15, okay? So right away, this is brand dominated, so I know to avoid this niche, but I'll go through this just to give you an idea of how I analyze the rest of the data points. So if we look through here, it looks like the average price is actually in the low 20s, okay? Monthly sales, here it looks like it's too inconsistent, right? A lot of these are actually below 250. All right, so that's a second strike. And as far as competition, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 listings that have more than 75 reviews. So this is too competitive. All right, so again, this is a bad product idea. So let's move on. The collapsible funnel. All right, I know it's called ball collapsible funnel. I don't know what the ball has to do with this. So I'm just gonna guess collapsible funnel. We'll choose all departments. Okay, this looks like the same product. So let's open up Jungle Scout. All right, so opportunity score says it's high demand, low competition, which is good. But again, never use this as your only point of data analysis. We can look at the price here and see that it's way too low. The average is around $6 to $7. Monthly sales is too low. It falls off way too quick, right? It doesn't maintain this sales velocity here. After the 7th listing, it starts to fall. Okay, you want to find consistent sales all the way down. And for reviews, we have 1, 2, 3, and this is borderline on the cutoff there. So it's somewhat competitive and it is not brand dominated. Okay, so price doesn't meet our criteria, sales doesn't meet our criteria, so we'll have to pass on this one. Okay, so that's how you analyze niches. Now there's also additional steps that you need to do to verify a product to make sure it's viable. So if you find a product that meets all of the initial product research criteria here, so brand domination, minimum price, the monthly sales volume, and the competition, then you also need to make sure that it's not patented and trademarked. And to do that is actually beyond the scope of this video. I'll actually leave a link here and in the video description below on how do you make sure products aren't patented or trademarked, because you don't want to violate someone's intellectual property. And the worst thing that can happen is you invest a whole bunch of money into a product only to find out later that you can't sell it. So definitely make sure you don't miss this step. Now going back to the product database, I'm going to show you some quick tips here on how you can make product research go a little bit quicker and possibly find products that other people aren't seeing, so you can avoid saturated niches. Okay, so I know I said here to make sure you look for prices between $15 and $50, but again, this is showing you 14,000 results. Now, one thing you can do is instead of trying to hammer these out in one session, you can break this up by, for example, looking at only $15 to $20 price point products. And if we click search there, you can see that it's dropped it down to 8,600 products. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, you can specifically look for products that you can improve on that have problems. So you can choose here a maximum rating, for example, 3.7 stars out of 5. And if you choose search there, you can find products where people have some complaints on and potentially find areas that you can improve the product to help differentiate it. So if you combine that filter, now it's dropped it down to 1,200 listings, which is far more manageable. Okay. Now, also you can incorporate the listing quality score, like I said, so you can find products that have poor listings. And again, this is out of 10, so you can perhaps do 8. And a more advanced tip here to help avoid looking at saturated niches is to look at the borderline cutoff points. So instead of right at $15, let's look at $14.87. I'm making up the decimal portion of this, right? And then look on the other side of $15, so $15.47, for example. And if I click search, I'm looking just at the borderline here where other people potentially are only looking at the round numbers, all right? And this lowers it to 312. So again, most beginners are looking between $15 and $20 to $25 price range. So you can always look at $19.97 through $20.65, for example, or look at $24.89 through $25.15. Again, I'm making up the decimal size of it, okay? And look at just these borderline products, okay? This will help you find products that no one else is potentially looking at. And this way you can lower the total number of listings that you have to analyze. And another way you can find product ideas is if we go back to, for example, this spring feeder. You can click on the Amazon's choice, for example, and look at what other products this top seller has. Because if they have one really good product that's selling well, they probably have multiple products. So if we click on their store by clicking their name here, we can see what other products they're selling. And what's great is the Jungle Scout Chrome extension works on this page too. So if we click on that, we can see all the different products they're selling here. And we can see if any of them are selling well. And it doesn't look like it in this case. Only this one here is selling decent numbers. Okay, none of them are selling 250 to 300 units per month. Okay, now another way is if we go back you can find product ideas by looking in the frequently bought together section here and see what other people have purchased along with this spring feeder. Okay, in this case, there is a braided thread hook and a rigging needle. And then you can also find other products here that other people have shopped for to give you more product ideas. As well as if you scroll all the way down, there's other sponsored products here that are related to it. Okay, and again, if you see products here that are strange, out of the ordinary, that catch your eye, you can analyze those product ideas as well. So along the same topic, coming up with product ideas seems to be a struggle for beginners too. So not only can you use the product database in Jungle Scout or looking on the product listings for different product ideas, you can actually look on Amazon too. For example, on Amazon's bestseller list. So what we can do here is just type in Amazon bestsellers list. And if you click on this, you can see that these are the best sellers on Amazon. And what I recommend here is actually niching down. So here you can pick a department, for example, home and kitchen. And I would niche down some more, like kitchen and dining. And you can look through here to see if any products that catch your eye. Okay? And another great way also is to look for the most wished for list. And again, you can just type in Amazon most wished for. Click on that link there. And again, niche down. So for example, health and household. Let's do house supplies. Okay, and you can find product ideas here. All right, so when I first started doing product research, I'm a very data-oriented and numbers-oriented guy. So what I wanted to see is a comparison between what bad product niches look like versus what good product niches look like, so I can see a difference between those numbers. So what I'll do here is I'll actually go onto my Amazon Beginner Mastery Facebook group, which if you haven't joined, you totally should. I'm in there answering questions every single day, so we can communicate in there. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them in that group. So what I'll do here is if we go to photos, we can see what members of the community have posted for screenshots of their Jungle Scout Chrome extension. So if we scroll down here and take a look at some of these, let's go through these and I'll show you whether or not they're good or bad. So if we come through here, we have one from this person here. And if we take a look, most of the time these are redacted to hide the product identity, so no one knows what they are, right? So actually one thing I want to point out is because these are redacted, if you've used the wrong keyword, there's no way for someone like me or another coach or guru to help you and point out if you've used the wrong keyword, because all we're seeing is this data in this window. So if you've used the wrong keyword and we tell you that it's a good product, you use the wrong keyword, then you could potentially be getting into a bad product because it could be too competitive. Okay, so make sure you're using the right keyword here, or speak to a coach in private where you can tell them what the keyword is so they can help you further. Okay, so if we come and look at the price, I'm guessing it's kind of borderline here, just below $15. And the monthly sales is pretty good. It's 250 to 300 units and higher. And the reviews, there's two listings here that are more than 75 reviews. So this is pretty decent. I would just make sure that the profit margin is attainable by going to Alibaba and checking to see what I can actually get the product for unit price to calculate exactly what the profit margin is. Okay, so if we move on and choose a different one, for example, this one. What I'm noticing here already is Vanessa has removed a whole bunch of listings, which were probably irrelevant products, okay? Now, you can see that almost half of the top 10 are removed, so she probably used the wrong keyword here. So that's one way to see if they've used the wrong keyword or not. The price point is good. It looks like it's $25 and higher. Monthly sales, it's borderline inconsistent, okay? Most of these are 250 to 300 units and higher, but there's a few here that are sporadically below. So it's borderline inconsistent, and competition is good. Most of these are less than 75 reviews, okay? So let's move on. So if we take a look at this one, the price one looks like it's okay. It looks like it's around $17, $18. The monthly sales is not bad. It kind of falls off here outside of the top 10. You can see that all of these are less than 250 sales. And the reviews, there's 1, 2, 3 that are more than 75. Okay, so this is decent. The sales is on the low side. Okay, actually I said that right here too. Okay, let's move on. Let's randomly pick some here. Here again, I can see right away the price point is borderline on the low side. Sales is also falling here, so it's on the low side. Reviews is good, so I would pass on that one. Okay, let's look at another one here. For example, this one. So if we look at the price, looks like it's above $15, which is good. Monthly sales looks pretty good. Most of these are above 250, 300 units per month. And there's only 1, 2 listings that are above 75 reviews. So this one looks good. Okay, let's take a look here. Great, I actually said looks good. All right, so let's try a different one. Okay, so let's take a look at a different one like this guy here. Price looks good, it's above $15. Monthly sales looks pretty good. It's above 250, kind of falls off a little bit here. The reviews, 1, 2, 3 are above 75 reviews. So this one's not bad. And actually said not bad. Okay, so yeah, so I hope that gives you an idea now of how to analyze these niches and what the good niches look like versus what the bad niches look like. Okay, and again, if you have any questions, you can post them in the comment section below or on my Facebook group here. And you can always post screenshots here too, and I'll take a look at your product ideas for you. Okay, so I hope you found this helpful and that you understand the importance of planning so that you can do proper product research. And more importantly, what the numbers mean so that you can analyze and manipulate them to suit your own needs. If you have any questions, post them up in the comment section below. I answer every single one of them. I'll also leave links to some more product research videos, including more advanced techniques if you'd like to learn more in the description below, as well as a coupon for Jungle Scout so you can save some money should you decide to purchase it. All right, thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And to make sure you never miss a video, be sure to click that bell icon to turn on notifications. There's also a link in the video description below to our community forums, which you should totally join. And if you're looking for more tips and strategy videos, click or tap over here. And as always, thanks for watching.